All right, so we're back for another Dokkan Fest TUR tier list. This does include both EZAs and normal Dokkan Fest TURs. And this is mainly because of the brand new EZAs for the Goku slash Gohan, the Cell First form, and then STR Perfect Cell, right? All these characters were, of course, in consideration for me in terms of making this list and who makes this list, who doesn't. And we'll talk about things right as we continue on because one of these characters did not make the top 10 TUR tier list. I think we'll hop right into it. Of course, at the end of the video, there will also be tiered tier list about, red zones and battle hardened formidable foes. I did not include Festival Battles here because none of these characters, maybe Goku Gohan, but none of them really I would consider to be a good character for the Festival of Battles event. So that's why I haven't actually done an update for that one specifically. Without further ado, let's really hop into things with our number 10 spot, which is Path to Power Kid Goku. So I think this guy is just a strong number 10 spot here. I did have consideration for Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku in this spot as well. But I decided to go ahead and put Path to Power Kid Goku here. I think that overall Path to Power Kid Goku will provide a more of an effect to what he's bringing to the team. Angel Super Saiyan 3, having that slot 1 availability, and, especially the battle hardened formidable foe stages. I think, for those stages, he's just way better than Path to Power Kid Goku. But not like, Path to Power Kid Goku is bad in that stage. He still has the attack debuffs that he can get with the different characters. You may be running a Bulma or Bulma Bunny. Hachan is actually not a bad character in some of these stages. So he does have a debuff for greatly lowering attack, which can be pretty cool. Again, this 8% damage reduction support is crazy. It's just providing quite a bit. Rainbow Orb changing, flat stat support for a character like Agl Kid Goku who can slot 1. Just overall very helpful. And he's going to just be a good character to throw on a lot of these teams as an extra additional option. I think, when we consider Red Zone, him versus Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku, this guy's just going to be a better option just straight up as well. So I think overall, evening out between like all the different stages, I do like this Path to Power Kid Goku just as a general better character. But I think I got a very safe, nice top 10, number 10 character right there. Not much really we have to say about this guy. I think he's very clear to use. You place him in slot 3. Maybe if he also made physical key spheres would be the only thing I would change about him, just so he could kind of get a little extra bit of key spheres. Luckily though, worst case scenario, you do only have to worry about getting 5 key spheres with him, so that is a really good change there. Now, number 9, we do have the GT Super Saiyan Goku. Now, this guy actually has moved a bit down with the new additions, but I think just in general, this guy can actually eat a lot of different super attacks in the game. But I think in a lot of situations, he may not be able to hit the, get the, like, tankiest against the biggest hard hitting super attacks. Compared to this guy, though, this guy, it's kind of weird between these two because this character, I think, is going to be overall, like in his best setup, he's going to look better than Path to Power Kid Goku. Tanking wise, offensively, I think he can look better than Path to Power Kid Goku. We have the active skill too, which could be pretty decent. I think the only difference is this guy's not restricted to a certain team. Well, this guy is restricted to GT Heroes or Giant 8 Power. I do want to keep in mind that Giant 8 Power is pretty much like a top 3 team right now, though. So, that's very, very helpful. Comparing the two directly, I would say, Super Saiyan GT Goku, I do like overall better potential. I mean, do I like Path to Power more? I feel like, oof, I might actually. I think I'm gonna change this up right now. I think I'm gonna put Path to Power above Super Saiyan GT Goku. Yeah. Again, this guy's really good. I just really feel like his restriction can hurt him. And he kind of feels like a character that really wants Super Saiyan 4 Goku out. Without Super Saiyan 4 Goku out, this guy is just like, he's like doing his own thing, like 40% reduction. Can get to some pretty nice defenses, I will give him that, right? But Path to Power Kid Goku is probably just providing more without a restriction, huh? Yeah. Okay, no, I changed my mind actually, yeah. This guy's still really good. I feel I really like my characters just being able to put them on a team that they're on without having to worry about restrictions. And I think that is something that the Super Saiyan GT Goku does suffer a bit for me. Now next we have Int Fat Buu. I do love Int Fat Buu. He's a goated character. The only thing is you do want another Majin Buu Saga category ally on the team, but that's not really going to be hard with the characters you're going to run this guy with anyways. And worst case scenario, you just will lose this healing. This healing is very nice, but it's not going to make or break this character. Outside of that, I mean, this character is amazing in Battle Hardened Foes. He has a free revive, and then he has a Ghost Usher Team Protector ability. Usually, I'm not a fan of characters who have to force a revive, but the thing about this guy is that once he gets his revive, you'll get a whole extra turn without any attacks, which is such a massive effect that I can let it slide, right? Because the point of revives to me is that it protects the team. So in the way that you use this Fat Buu, his revive will allow you to essentially protect the team if you need to for 2 whole turns. And that second turn is a genuine team protector in the fact that your characters are still going to attack. And I think that's an important thing there. This guy's a stacker too, which means that he could be quite useful in longer events. He's not really going to do a lot of crazy damage though, but that's really the only thing. And for the 7th turn, he could just use his Ghost Usher, so he has a free Ghost Usher in long fights too. So, I mean, yeah, he's healing throughout the fight. I think he's just providing a lot of value and utility, especially in short fights. But in long fights, you just throw this guy on the team and he races like a whole turn of the final phase, right? The only issue you run into is if you're running like Teq Vegeta, right? And then you can't really use this guy's active skill. But no, this Fat Buu is going to continue to age very well. If I would choose between Path Packer and Goku and this guy as a floater, I would choose Fat Buu, I'm thinking, right? I think, not that it's like a comparison, like, oh, it's a gap right here. But yeah. That's that for Fat Buu. Maybe I'm a Fat Buu lover, but I do like Fat Buu. Next, I have Buuhan. I considered actually putting Fat Buu above Buuhan, but I was like, nah, because Buuhan, again, not only is he Rainbow Orb changing, he's healing, he's supporting, he has the debuff. And I think that debuff is what I'm really thinking of, because in red zone fights, I think this guy will provide generally more, right, with not only the Rainbow Orb changing, but his direct support. Since you're facing superclass enemies, he's providing key 3 and 30% attack and defense support. And generally, if you get him to 3 Rainbow Key Spheres, he has 66% damage reduction. So he's going to be like a lot tankier compared to Path Parker Goku or Super Saiyan GT Goku, right? Which does matter to me. Plus, not really any restrictions. He doesn't need any like extreme class allies or Majin Buu Saga allies or rotation. I really liked the Ghost Usher effect that this guy has, but I mean, this character in Battle Hardened Foes, he has that debuff, which is really good. And he's able to really hold very well on his own against most events. The only time I would run into an issue with this character is sometimes you might get just 2 Rainbow Key Spheres. I think that has happened at times to me. The other time is like if he gets locked by physical topo. But every other event, this guy is able to do very well for himself. So I think everyone knows how good Buuhan is. I don't really have to extrapolate too deep on that, right? So yeah, there that is. Number 6 here is the Agl Cell. And that's where we can start talking about the new EZAs, like the actual new stuff. So Agl Cell, him and Buuhan, I think, are decently close. I just would say Buuhan is probably better in Battle Hardened Foes, and the Cell's better in Red Zone. And I think this Cell, even when he gets to second form, I mean, in Battle Hardened Foes, he still has, what, a 32% chance to dodge with the guard, which is not really a big chance to guard, but he does have damage reduction as well with the guard, right? And once he super attacks, he gets quite a huge amount of defense. The only thing I would change about the Cell in general is to make his like first and second forms have a debuff. I think that's all I do. But then once Perfect Cell is out, he's just like straight up better than Buuhan, I think for sure. Even once the guard runs out, this guy still has 35% reduction with like 4 to 4.5 mil defense range. And he's doing way more damage as well. I guess the only thing is he doesn't have his heal, right? But if you can get this, he technically does have a team protector ability. It's not something that you'll see too often, but it's something that can potentially happen, which is a nice little thing. But no, yeah, I mean, he also has just a 70% chance to just dodge just straight up if you're above the HP 50% threshold. So with that as well, you get to straight up dodge the damage that he'd take. This Agl Cell is crazy. Like, Agl Cell by himself is like actually higher on this list, but he's not always going to be the perfect cell. There's going to be first form and second form cell. First form and second form cell, they're not really doing a lot, right? Which is why I'm like, you know, you could probably make an argument if you really majorly favor the battle hard and formidable foes. You can say Buuhan potentially above this guy, but the thing about Buuhan is, you know, if we talk about the hardest fights, there's the Agl Cell AoE phase, and then the Agl Cell Max AoE phase and the Agl Broly AoE phase, and this guy will just get demolished by the AoE phase. This guy has a dodge, at least, so he has the option of survivability in that fight, especially the Broly one. In the Broly one, there is like a non-zero chance you can have a perfect sellout by the end, since it's a 3-phase fight. Not gonna say it's a consistent thing you'll see, but you can potentially get perfect form sellout, so that could be really nice. Yeah, so like this guy and Teq Cell together as a rotation in the battle hardened formidable foes can actually rock pretty nicely too. Plus, you know, if you do have STR Cell, there's a domain buff, which will really power this guy up. I would say I like Goku Gohan better though, which I think a lot of people won't agree to that, but you gotta hear me out. Goku I like better than Agl Cell is what I'm thinking, just generally. Because if we're talking about short fights, I mean, Goku will just straight up have the 70% chance to dodge. Agl Cell will have like a higher defensive stat, but Agl Cell only has the, like, he has, well, again, being fair, Agl Cell does have a 67% chance to dodge, right? But on top of this guy just having the, I guess, you know, Agl Cell can be put in someone, but, you know, we're not really going to do that. But in short fights, this guy also has the high chance of stun, plus with his triple super, you'll have, well, he could triple super with, including the hidden potential system. He has a high chance to stun, right? Which I think is what puts me above, like, what has me put Goku above Agl Cell, specifically in the first form. I think second form Cell is a safer option. But once you get Gohan out, Gohan's also very, very crazy. And even after running out of this 58% damage reduction, Gohan is still going to be quite tanky. He has Ki Blast nullification, so if you're able to get like Gohan out in the battle hardened foes fights, which is not impossible, like you could get a triple super turn one with Goku and then you get Gohan out. He can just like counter the Broly AoE super attack, right? It's not a very impossible thing. I've had multiple turns where Goku just triple super turn one and then I got Gohan out after, right? Gohan I found to be very tanky. Again, really once this is up. So that first hit could be dangerous, but once this is up, I find Gohan to be very, very, very already tanky enough, right? Because that's 68% reduction plus guard. It's just such a huge amount. And this multiplicative buff of defense really does matter too. And him getting up to 88% damage reduction is crazy. Like you stack up with, like in Red Zone, you stack up with Goku, and then you can get this Gohan out whenever you want. And I think that's another thing about the long fights. You have a choice. Agl Cell just will transform. And then I've had turns where I run out of this guy's guard, which is not going to make him like terrible, but you know, Gohan, I could save his peak at the end of the fight if I want to. Cell, you can't really do that, which does suck. I think there's one situation where it will, like, where you kind of are forced to transform, and that's AoEs. Because Goku, again, even from the 6th turn onward, he still has a high chance to dodge. So if you like, he still will be fine mostly, but he only dodges after he performs a super attack. And I guess, you know, because even after you lose this, he should still be mostly fine. He'll probably take damage to normals though, which is not good at all. Like once this comes up, that's an issue where you could say, you know, kind of I'm forced to transform him into the 6th turn. But at least me personally, I haven't had issues. And maybe if I run into actual issues like that, my opinion will change on it. But We'll talk about GT Vegeta after. Gohan is just so good. He's really crazy. So I'm a huge fan of this Gohan. I think you save him for the end. Red zones, he cooks. Goku has the ability to just straight up allow you to ignore what the boss is doing in battle hardened foes, which is very nice. They're just on a better setup too, which does matter a bit. Like I don't really like STR Cell setup. Like a lot of these setups, except for Path Park and Goku and these two, right? Like I think these guys could definitely get better setups. This character though, he's on like Teq Vegeta's team. He's on full power team, which is like actually a pretty decent team too. GT Vegeta. I mean, he's just GT Goku, except he's not restricted to a team, and he's better defensively, while still preventing the Rainbow Orb changing. I think throughout the entire fight, this guy will be more useful than like a lot of the characters under him. And yeah, no, he doesn't really fall off per se. He just doesn't like stack or anything, so he's not really a character that would be really good in battle festival battles. But I wouldn't really run any of these characters in festival battles regardless. I keep spoiling the list by accident. GT Vegeta is he's just a good consistent character to run. I mean, you throw him on any team he's on and he's going to be doing the same thing, and he's going to be tanking the same way, which is extremely good, by the way. He has incredible tanking capabilities. You don't want to save orbs for him, but I don't really think that's much of an issue with him Rainbow Orb changing. So yeah, no, I think GG Vegeta, again, we talked about him extensively in previous lists, so I don't really have to go too in depth, but I like that you could just throw him on the team. You could throw him on the Fusion team. You could throw him on the Super Saiyan 4 Goku team, which is realistically his best team, right? And then on any of these future teams, you could just kind of plop him on there and he's good to go. Because again, he doesn't, like, this doesn't really matter for what his role is doing. He wants to just be a very tanky, floating Rainbow Orb changer, and that's what he does. That is what he does everywhere at a very consistent level. Well, this guy, you know, he does have to rely on the dodge. This character kind of has to rely on the dodge. Well, not the Cell here. This character has to rely on the dodge, right? Buuhan, I feel like there's turns where you need the Rainbow Orb changer to get lucky with you. And yeah, there's just a bunch of situations with those characters. Speaking of a consistent, Teq Cell is still stupidly good. Again, he's just better with STR Cell, his domain specifically. Agl Cell's EZA especially, I think it really helps this guy out. Like Agl Cell plus Teq Cell as a rotation on some of these teams, like villain-based teams, could be really cool. Sucks that STR Cell sucks, or else, you know, that would make this guy even better. But STR Cell, well, he doesn't suck, he's more mediocre. He's on the list, by the way. That's the character that I said wasn't gonna make the list. We'll talk about him maybe in a bit. I mean, this guy's Rainbow Orb changing. He guides himself to the Rainbow Orbs, which is, like, you see this, and it's like something that I wish Buuhan had. Because, again, there's times where I might not get the full ability of this, which is why Buuhan might not, could potentially be higher, but I kind of miss the Rainbow Orb sometimes. This guy, I don't. So, like, all these enemies are superclass enemies, except for Cell Max, right? But he's type advantage against Cell Max anyways, but again, the Blue Goku fight, the Universe Rival Saga fights, the Battle Hard and Formidable Foes, Stage 10, even like the Beerus fights in the, what's it called, Stage 9, in the Stage 9 for the Battle Hard and Formidable Foes. Like, they're all super class, but he will be providing a 20% attack debuff there, which is nice. But let's say he's against a super class enemy, and he has an extreme class ally, which doesn't really matter. He's supporting too, which is cool. Baseline 20%, 40% gets super class. Get him 4 rainbow keysters. I feel like it's kind of consistent. Then this guy's at 80% damage reduction, and then he's at like 800k defense start of turn. But then he attacks and gets 200%. So then his defense actually will triple. So that 800k that you'll see will actually shoot up all the way to like 2.4 mil. So, yep, he's really good. He's really good. And he changes not only the rainbow keysters, but Agl detects, so he's able to get himself quite a lot of keysters, and that's just turn 1. So again, very useful for short content. In long content, he doesn't like build up or anything, but there's not really fights where this guy's challenged to like take that much damage, really. So yeah, no, this Teq Cell's stupid good. I have Glorio here too. And I think what matters a little bit is festival battles. I think that's maybe a thing where I think Cell, he doesn't have to worry about locking or anything. But if Glorio doesn't get locked in a bad position, Glorio is just going to be overall better than what Cell's providing with the multi-turn 50% support here in battle hard and formidable foes. He'll just get a billion super attacks and just debuff the enemy. Just quite a lot. Even with dodge disable, this guy gets incredibly high defenses that doesn't really matter to him. His team is actually still a pretty good team. Like, you could actually run the fusions on his team under accelerated battle if you wanted to. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of characters that fit this Glorio's team, and since its support is just to all allies, you could realistically run whatever you want. It doesn't have to be demonic power specifically, but demonic power is about to get a lot of huge buffs as well. I mean, Slug is a character that can move up on this list if demonic power gets like really good buffs as well, so that does matter. I think we all know how good Glorio is. Again, I don't want to like fully explain a character's kit for characters that we already know how good they are. So I think, you know, Glorio at 2 makes a lot of sense to people. Kid Goku at 1, I think makes a lot of sense to people too. He's a king in festival battles. He's a GOAT in the battle hard and formidable foes, and he's still very good in red zone. So the only issue with this guy is I think his team is kind of sucks, but you can still run it very effectively. This guy is a character that will be able to carry you, you know, in battle hardened foes. He has a stud with Bulma, so if you do run a Bulma on the team in those fights, he could just stun, right, which is really cool. He's able to like slot 1, I think, for a lot of turns, most turns pretty much, right? This guaranteed dodge is just really good too. I find this to be a lot better than I thought it would have been. This ability is just super useful, allows him to slot 1 again. This guy's just incredible. Really good release, and he will continue to age really well. So again, to wrap things up here is the red zone kind of tier list here. I feel like, you know, Gogeta is a little lower here because there's not a lot of extreme class allies. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta's here because, you know, he'd be a little finicky, especially with the locking. Angel Goku will run out of his passive. Dodge disable. Kid Buu will run out of his passive. Dodge disable for this character kind of hurts, and he doesn't need... His build up is fine though. These characters, you know, eventually Buuhan can get his domain. Slug will just be a generally good character to run, I think, overall, generally. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I think you'll have more opportunities to potentially get his transformation. So when his transformation's out, I think he's actually still pretty good. STR Cell, I just put him up here because he's able to build up there. He has the revive, which is cool. If you're running him solo, he'll be fine. I guess we'll talk about him. I didn't even finish putting the list up here. Who did I have? Vegeta, Teq Cell, Glorio, and then Goku here. So STR Cell, I might just have to make a whole video on him. I think he's not enough. I mean, you're running him on his own team for the most part. Not only because you can get this, like you really want this. If you're running him on another team, you might not get this, and then he's gonna lose a whole additional super. His crit chance or his damage becomes even more pathetic, which his damage is already mediocre on a team where it would be really helpful for him to do damage. He buffs many of the enemies in the game. Tournament participants is not like Universe Survival Saga stages, he'll just buff them, so your allies could just die more easier. The friend cell or whatever cell doesn't get the guard will likely die more easier too. Androids, he buffs the cell max fights, the gammas. And just he's not good in festival battles. Battle hardened foes, like you revive with one and then the other one is just mid. Lots of issues. And like you revive with one, but then he doesn't get fully built up. So when you put him in slot 1, even though he has all of this, he still takes a lot of damage in slot 1. I almost want to say he sucks, but he's when you run him solo, he's actually a decent character still. But yeah, you know, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this guy. I think It's also like I just feel like the game works against him. The blue Goku fight, guess what? He's time disadvantage. So again, the cell that doesn't get the guard is at a huge disadvantage, but the cell with the guard is pretty good. So that's that. But yeah, no, this is the red zone kind of tier list. Not ordered in any way here. This is just generally what I'm thinking. I mean, you can move some characters up and down, maybe. It's not really supposed to be anything serious. Then this is battle hardened formidable foes, which you see a huge change. This is where I'm like, okay, if you're asking why was Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku considered for 10, it's because he's so good for battle hardened foes, but then he falls off quite a bit for a formidable the red zone stages. This is why I was thinking about Fat Buu above Buuhan, but I'm like, I mean, you could say it because Fat Buu's so good in this stage, but I think I'm gonna take Buuhan generally over. This is not ordered either. Daima Vegeta is actually pretty decent in battle hardened foes because turn 1 he'll have 90% reduction plus the scouter, right? Just yeah, just what I'm thinking here. This kind of helped me to making the actual like top 10 list, but I'm done here. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate y'all for watching, and I guess I'll just catch you guys next time. Peace out.